Okay, so I'm in kind of a weird predicament because I have not been intentionally putting off the Volume 8 video. It genuinely was like, okay, I want to watch it, take my notes on it, kind of figure out like really what I think about this volume, but I'm gonna go ahead and watch Volume 9. And when I watched Volume 9, I was like, I know exactly what I think of this volume. I absolutely fucking loved it. I need to talk about it. There's hair in my mouth. Like I even said during the Volume 9 video, I was like, it's almost 2 in the morning, and my brain is just telling me, you need to just word vomit out your thoughts on this volume. Don't write anything, don't care. It's all there in your head. Just talk and work it out. It's great. And I think partly because I moved on not only by watching Volume 9, but talking about Volume 9, Volume 8 was really pushed down. And I don't mean in terms of like, oh yeah, like its quality was severely like downplayed or underplayed in my head, and just more of a, I kind of forgot what the fuck happened in it. And even when I was looking through my notes, because like again, it was earlier in that week, and while looking through my notes, I'm like, oh yeah, like that happened. Oh yeah, that happened. And even right now, I can barely remember a lot of the shit that happened in Volume 8. And part of that might just be, yeah, like my memory, especially my kind of shorter term memory, can be kind of spotty at times. But I do think Volume 8 for me is the least memorable volume of RWBY. Because I remember, and again, like I don't remember everything from Volume 1. Like I feel like I remember Volume 1. I remember some of the character arcs. I remember some of the jokes. I've still referenced the control polls line in a few videos since Volume 1. I think it's my favorite joke in the show. It's so goofy and stupid. I love it. I think it's perfect. I definitely remember there's some very strong elements from Volume 2 that I remember. And even like in the 8 years since I had seen it last, I remembered, what's her name, Coco? But as I call her, it looks like RWBY's character design if she was a hipster. I remember that moment of hipster RWBY just having this spotlight in the season 2 finale out of nowhere and having a briefcase minigun. I remember a lot from season 3, mostly from the second half, because like I'd even said, I think the fights in the first half, they're kind of spotty. I think they're okay, but they're not terrible. But there was a lot of shit I remember from season 3. I really don't like season 4, so of course I remember it well. I remember a lot from 5, 6, 7, and a lot from 9. I think with 9, I really remember the emotions that I felt. 8's kind of a blur. It's kind of a blob. There's things I remember. I have notes right here. Again, I write my RWBY notes in red because I have a red pen. I can. But even as I was writing my notes, I didn't feel much outside of maybe a few things. I don't know what I think of this volume. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. I was talking to Clay, and to me, comparing Volume 8 and 7 of RWBY is like for me comparing Tales of Eternia and Tales of the Abyss. Tales of the Abyss does a lot of things right. There's also a lot of problems I have with that game. Mostly, I think the first act is total dog shit, and the game runs so fucking bad. It takes 30 seconds to save. We timed it. And those, I feel like there's kind of other things here and there, but I remember to me, those were the big ones. The performance was it made the game genuinely unfun to play. And the first third made it genuinely unfun to sit through. But I felt like by the end, I liked it and enjoyed the overall experience. I wish it was shorter. I remember saying when I was done with it, I'm like, I'm glad I got to the end and experienced the story. It didn't need to be 50 fucking hours, though. Whereas with Eternia, I don't feel like, for me, it never hit the highs that Abyss has, but it never had its lows either. So I feel like I like Abyss more. Season 7 of RWBY, as I said in my video, is held back by one problem. But it's a significant problem because it's the main fucking cast. I love the city of Atlas. I love the different factions of Ironwood, Hill, Schnee, and Salem, and the way they're all competing with each other, and just also the level of their goals. Schnee, I'm trying to do what's best for myself and what's best for my company, not out of a sense of altruism, but because what's best for the company is best for me because I own it. Hill, I want to do what's best for Mantle. And then Ironwood, I want to do what's best for humanity. But how even the latter two, who come across as more selfless, can be clouded in their judgment. And I think that's really interesting. Then you have the villains in the back going, we're literally trying to destroy all of this, and we want you guys to fight each other as much as possible. Because when humanity is united, we are unstoppable. But we're always divided. And that's what makes us easy to destroy. And I fucking love that. Then there's Team RWBY who are like, let's not tell Ironwood the truth. And then Blake going, let's spill his secrets to Robin. Surely this won't backfire. And then when it backfires spectacularly, they all... they have the gall to be surprised. And yes, like it's something I had said in my Volume 7 video. It's not that I think Ironwood's plan for Atlas and Mantle by the end is the right thing to do. But I do find the morality of it really interesting. And I will say, I kind of, not 100%, definitely not 100%, but I kind of like what they do with that in Volume 8. Where even amongst our main characters, excuse me, they break the D&D rule. They split the fucking party. And I like the reason they do it. It's not just well, we got shit to do here, we got shit to do here, let's split up. Which, it's not like I inherently have a problem with that either. I just make D&D jokes because I like playing D&D and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, point. I like that it's because of conflicting morality. RWBY saying, the most important thing that we can do is get the word out. Because Atlas and Mantle need help. People need to know about Salem. So that way, when she makes her next move, which will be Vacuo, they have the information and they can be prepared. But we also need people to come to our aid here at Atlas. What we need to do, gang, is finish up the shit with the tower and get the word out. And Yang saying, what the fuck is wrong with you? RWBY, we followed your lead. You were the one who didn't trust Ironwood for no good reason. I guess now there's a good reason because he's an asshole, but the reason he's being an asshole is because we betrayed his trust. We followed your lead and it backfired. I love you, sis, but I can't blindly trust your judgment. What we need to do is be here for the people. The heating is off, so people are freezing. The Grimm are fucking everywhere and attacking people. They need protection. They need shelter. They need food. They need hope. And they don't need it once we get the tower up. They need it now. I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to help these people. And if I have to do it alone, I'm going to do it alone. Then the party splits. Weiss, Blake, and Nora side with RWBY. John, Ren, and Oscar side with Yang. So, okay, I can't make this joke. I don't know if I said this in the season 7 video, because I think this is something I thought of later. But since Oscar, at least in season 7, he kind of replaced Pura in terms of Team Juniper. So that's JNRO, and I'm like, okay. I know John is the leader, so the J is supposed to be first, so that's another way of spelling Junior. But I don't care. They are Team Orange. ORJN. And you can't stop me from making them Team Orange, which we don't have here because it's a Y instead of an N. I kept trying to think of what to do with that. Like, their Team Royge? Their Team JROY? Junior? Oh boy, like that. Rioj? Ryu? I guess maybe Rouge, RYOJ. If you pronounce it really weird. Team Ryuj. But then RWBN. We get Team Ruben. And I love that we have a Team Ruben so much. I have a character in what the story I have where one of the two main characters reminds me a lot of RWBY. The more I watch this show, the more I'm like, it is actually eerie how fucking similar these two characters are. What the hell? Her older brother is named Robin, and then there ends up being a joke partway through the series where someone mishears his name as Ruben, so they start calling him Ruben. So now the name Ruben is inherently funny to me, just because it makes me think of my character and shit, so I kind of smile, I kind of giggle a little bit. So us having a Team Ruben, and the character from this show that reminds me of his little sister is the leader of Team Ruben. Like, this is wonderful. Like, I can't make this shit up. This is just some cosmic irony. It's not even irony, but it's cosmic humor to me, and I really appreciate it. But aside from that, like I said, I do genuinely appreciate that it... Alright, I'm gonna take a quick drink of water. I appreciate that we're following up with the last season's theme of morality. Here's the team that's like Robin and believes in we have to help the people of Mantle first and foremost. And the team that's like Ironwood, who is saying we need to do what's best for the people as a whole, but we have to ignore Mantle's needs for now. And I remember there's a part in season 9, I don't remember if I mentioned this in the season 9 video, where RWBY does say, she's like, our plan saved pretty much everyone's lives, we think. And I mean, I think there was also a bunch of people who at the end of this volume also fell and are probably in the ever after and just kind of got ignored. Fucking whoops. But it's like, we think we saved everyone's lives, but Salem still got the relics. So it doesn't fucking matter who we saved, because everyone is going to end up dying anyways, and we let the antagonist get that much closer. We failed. And Blake even says, RWBY, maybe it was Yang. I think it was Blake. Is like, RWBY, you're sounding a lot like Ironwood right now, and that's wrong. And I'm like, I don't know that she is, though. And that's fascinating to me. The main conflict of season 8 is it's utilitarianism versus deontology. It is the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few versus, to quote the opening theme, I fucking had it, and then as soon as I said I'm about to quote it, my brain blanked on it's the last line of the chorus. It's sometimes it's worth it all to risk the fall, to fight for every life. Because that is what they are trying to do. A plan that involves someone dying or uses someone as a sacrifice is not acceptable to us. And I feel like, at least for me, like as I was watching the season, there's points where I am 100% on the side of Team RWBY, Team Ruben, Team Ryush, well, whoever the fuck. And there's also times when I'm 100% on the side of Ironwood. For example, when the plan is we have access to all the resources of the Schnee Dust Company, and we can use that to start using those transport ships, go into Mantle, and use them to transport the people of Mantle into Atlas. It's something that's... sorry, my nose is super itchy. It's awful. We can transport the people from Mantle into Atlas, get them safe, probably more or less do it without super aggroing Salem. This is not going to really interfere with Ironwood's plans, so we can probably get this to work. Shouldn't be an issue. 100% on their side here. And then when Ironwood shows up and goes, see, I know it's going to save a lot of people's lives, but it's just not part of my plan. So if you do this, I'm going to nuke you. I'm like, oh, okay, we've reached this part of Ironwood's character where he's completely lost his fucking gourd. Got it. Okay. Which, if I'm being honest, given the end of Season 7, I feel like that's believable. I wouldn't say it's reasonable, because he's acting like a psycho there. But I can believe that under all this stress and bullshit, even someone like Ironwood would crack. But then, there's other times where there's Salem's giant whale, which is a weird thing to say out of context. But you've seen the season, you know what I'm talking about. Like, her airship is essentially this giant grim whale thing that just and spews other grim. So it's a fucking problem. So the plan is, we're going to blow it right the fuck up. We are going to take the bomb, we're going to do what we can to put it inside the thing's mouth to make it explode. It's not going to kill Salem because I've now learned that she's immortal. Thank you, by the way, Team RWBY and Co. for letting me know this vital fucking piece of information. But at the very least, it'll take care of that. It might kill her subordinates that are on board, and it will at least stop her from infinitely spawning Grim. Maybe at least temporarily. So, Winter and the Aesops are tasked with doing the shit with the bomb. They capture... Okay, that's Yang, Ren, and John. Rouge still? I don't know. Anyway, it's those three because Oscar goes missing. I'll put a quick pin in there. Well, it's not even really a pin to do because Oscar gets captured by Salem because she wants Ozpin with her. Ozma. Whoops. And the three of them get captured. They find out the plan is to blow up the thing that Oscar is in. And their response to Winter and the Aesops is, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're gonna go blow up the enemy's base. This big-ass monster that is threatening the city and summoning hordes of monsters that are gonna attack the city. You can't do that because my friend is in there. I get it. Oscar is their homie. They want to protect him. They want to save him. But the fact that the way they argue it at first is it really does come across as, you can't do that. There's someone else in there. It's like, yeah, and that's really shitty. There's also people here. There's a whole fucking city here. And if that thing is left to its own devices, there's not gonna be a city anymore. There's not gonna be a people to protect anymore. It's shitty that your friend has to explode. maybe y'all should have done a better job protecting him. It's like, I'm kind of with the Aesops and Ironwood on that one. And I really like the compromise, which is, okay, I don't remember the amount of time that Winter gives them. I'm going to say an hour. That might not be quite correct. But it's essentially, you want to go save your friend? I'll give you an hour. After an hour, I am throwing in the bomb and I'm blowing that place to Kingdom Come. If you're still in there, you're still in there. But I gave you time. If you make it out, congratulations. That's awesome. But that thing is getting blown up one way or another. And I really liked that. I don't know if Winter is my favorite character in this season, because Penny also exists in this season, and I also have Ice Cream in this season. But Winter kind of steals the fucking show. And when I really say I kind of like what they were doing with the, following up with the morality thing from season 7, that's what I really love. I'm like, Ironwood went so far off the deep end, he stopped being as interesting. And I feel like with the Aesops, with the exception of Marrow, they're trying to give them that sense of conflict-ish, but it really doesn't work for the most part. I just don't think they're written interesting enough, at least for me. God, I hate Crow in this season. I was going to talk about Winter, but let me go and do my Crow rant. This season made Crow my least favorite character in the show. Now, I wasn't exactly his biggest fan, if you've seen the previous videos. I'm very hit or miss on Crow. To be fair, I'm kind of hit or miss on a lot of characters, just depending on the season and how they're written. Crow, I had no empathy for him in this season. The reason I have no empathy for him is not because he lost his friend, because that's fucking awful. The fact that at the end of season 7, in a situation where you have Crow, Clover, and Tyrion, and each person wants to take out the other two. Maybe not necessarily kill them. It's like, okay, Crow and Clover both know that Tyrion is a fucking problem. He works for Salem. He's a serial killer. He's an absolute fucking menace to society, and he makes these weird gremlin noises. He is a problem. Both of them know we need to arrest him. Like, he's way too dangerous if left for his own devices. So, you would think that the two of them would say, okay, you and I are friends. We've built a bond. We've become kind of close. Clearly some shit is going on right now, and we need to figure that out. Like, this being Clover's, like, I believe in the general with everything I have. And if he is telling me that you are a problem, Crow, that means you're a problem. But I also want to work this out with you. Like, I do, because I know you're not a bad person. Maybe we can figure this out. Like, I would think he's intelligent enough to do that. And I would think Crow is intelligent enough to do the same. But instead, they're targeting each other just as much, if not more, than they're targeting Tyrion. And Crow willingly teams up with Tyrion. It's not even just as the fight is going on, Tyrion just happened to be able to kill Clover. They specifically say, okay, you and I hate each other, but can we agree he's the bigger threat? And Crow goes, yeah, he's the bigger threat. Why? How? I guess because of his good luck? Because of his training? He doesn't work for the fucking devil, Crow. Like, how? How is he the bigger problem in this scenario? Because you can talk to him. You can reason with him. Now, maybe he won't agree with you. Maybe he will still try to imprison you. but he is explicitly not A, trying to murder you, or 2, trying to bring down Atlas, or 3, cause the extinction of the human race. This is someone you can communicate with. Not Tyrion. This makes no sense. And the fucking shock of the series, Tyrion uses this team up to not only kill Clover, but frame Crow for it. And Crow, in his grief and his frustration, blames Ironwood? He's like, I'm gonna kill James. I'm gonna kill Ironwood. Like, I'm gonna avenge Clover by killing him. Like, what? You're not even mad at Tyrion. You know, the guy who actually did it. This is not a... Man, all of this shit is happening because Salem is in the city. And she is the number one problem. I'm gonna find out a way to kill that bitch. I don't know what it's gonna take, but I'm gonna do it. It's not... Tyrion did this. I have to take care of him. I have to kill that dude. I have to avenge this guy. He barely even blames himself. Now, maybe that's kind of the point, is that he does blame himself. He's just trying to find whoever he can to blame it on. Which, sure, he should blame himself, because I blame him. This is Crow's fucking fault. That's why I feel no empathy for him. Like, no, this is your stupid-ass decision to team up with the obviously evil fucking psycho bastard. And it played out exactly how any sensible person would see it play out. I get it. High emotions and shit. You're a fucking huntsman. You're supposed to keep a cool head in these kinds of situations. You also sobered up. So I can't even say, yeah, it's because he's drunk and it's impeding with his ability to think. His mind's clear as a California day. And he did this and blames Ironwood for it. Because Ironwood gave the order to arrest. Ironwood's not the one who sent the team up with Tyrion, Crow. And you know why Ironwood's so pissed off right now? It's because his allies were lying to him, including you, his trusted friend and confidant. And while the two of you have your problems, when he saw you, he gave you the biggest fucking hug. It was like, I'm so happy to see you. I know we have our differences, Crow. We don't always see eye to eye, but we're on the same side. And having you here makes me feel secure. You are someone I can trust. And God, that's in short supply right now. And you couldn't trust him. That fucking season 7 stank. I can't quite wash it off, man. Oh, the bad shit in season 7 is so bad. Like, I think the reason I hate it so much is it feels unnecessary. If Ironwood, like, because what if they didn't lie to Ironwood? What if Team RWBY in season 7 said, this is what's up. This is how the relics work. This is, Salem can't be killed, blah, 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 blah. And Ironwood, what? Fuck. Okay. Then that's all the more reason for us to finish the tower. Salem wants to destroy humanity. She wants to gather the... I keep wanting to just say gather the Dragon Balls. I'm gonna slip at some point. I'm gonna say gather the Dragon Balls. But like, she wants to gather the relics, to summon the gods, find humanity has failed, find that we're, in discord and chaos and shit, and will smite us all off the face of the earth. But what if she gets the relics and it doesn't matter because we are a united force? We could get Amity Tower up. We could get global communications up. We can let everyone know what she is planning. We can't kill her. But if we are united, then, by our unity, we beat her. By not having these negative emotions and the chaos and the discord and the panic and the fear, We beat the Grimm. Thank you for letting me know, because it has only strengthened my convictions. And then, at the end of the season, that's when she shows up. Just like she does. Like, Cinder sneaks in there, puts the Black Queen as the symbol of, we're here, and I'm close to your maiden. And Ironwood panics, because he knows the plan's not ready yet. The tower isn't ready. Taking care of all the Grimm in the city from the panic that it causes. We're not ready. I need to do something drastic. I need to protect the relic from Salem. I need to protect the people of Atlas from Salem. Oh, cool. So that means you're going to protect the people of Mantle too, right? Right? About that. And then he goes into his new plan, which is, this is not something I want to have to do, but we're not ready. The most important thing is protecting the relic. Because until we can unite the world, we have, if Salem gets all the Dragon Balls before we unite the world, we all die. And if we can't work toward unity right now, we have to protect the Dragon Balls. To which Team RWBY would probably argue, Ironwood, what the fuck are you talking about? If we leave the people of Mantle behind to die, we're not being unified. We're acting out of fear, out of panic, out of desperation. We're falling into her trap. We're falling into what she's saying. You need to listen to us. This is crazy. And then when he does it anyways and says, I do, you are my friends, you are my allies, and I do trust you. But this is what we have to do. Are you going to help me or not? Then when they make it clear that, no, we can't help you with this, James. This is evil. You are not an evil man. But this is evil. That's what leads to the conflict. And you know what? Team RWBY, their hands are clean. And maybe that's the intent, is to make them seem more gray and to, it doesn't work though. Because they just come across as really fucking entitled hypocrites. To me, the biggest problem I genuinely have in RWBY is the protagonist-centered morality. It's not as big in the early seasons, but it is there. I really notice it in season 2, when even in the opening, and as much as I love Time to Say Goodbye, because it's especially the full version of the song, it's really good. But there's even a line about, we can't just wait around until they think we're ready. Come on, our enemies are gathering. We gotta go do shit. No. You're supposed to let the adults handle this. You know why? It's because they have experience. It's because they have resources. It's because they have the power to do shit. And when left to their own devices, as we have seen time and time again, and as RWBY herself really reflects on in Volume 9, when we're left to our own devices, we fail. We don't do so hot. And that is definitely talked about a lot in Season 8. Let me put a pretty hefty pin there. And I don't mind that. The main characters failing is not an inherently bad thing, because I want to see them grow. I want to see how they react to their successes, and I want to see how they react to their failures. And if that can make them stronger, if that can make them better. I want to see characters maybe not always make mistakes, but learn from them and be sharper and be sharpened and refined from them. That's why I love Season 9 so much, because Season 9 genuinely feels like this self-reflection from both the characters and almost the show as a whole, saying, okay, not only do our main characters have a poor track record in terms of their success, they've been kind of assholes the last couple seasons. We have reflected on that. We understand that. We're gonna be better. So, I'm really gonna hold them all to a higher standard come season 10. But at the same time, I don't mind it if they fail to save Atlas. That sucks. You know, like, you are losing like some cool points and shit here, but that's okay. What bothers me is how confident they are in their bullshit. And I feel like you can genuinely get to Volume 8 without the bullshit. You don't have to lie to Ironwood. Ironwood's actions can be based on pure desperation and panic. And that's fine. That's still interesting. But the moment the main characters lie to him, start telling him to be honest with other people, and then get mad at him for not trusting him, they're the assholes. It doesn't absolve James, but there's a thing in law, especially it's more in equity than in law. The doctrine of unclean hands, which is essentially, if you're suing someone in equity, but you're guilty of either the same shit or you've also done some dirty shit too, you're not gonna win the case. Because equity is all about fairness, and you can't say, hey, what he's doing is unfair when you've been doing unfair shit yourself. You know, there's like a parable in the Bible where I don't remember exactly what it was, but like there's a dude who goes to the king and begs and pleads for the king to absolve him of his debt, and the king goes, sure, 100%, that's fine. Then the same dude goes to a guy that owes him money and is like, you son of a bitch, you have to fucking pay me what I'm owed. Hey man, I can't afford to pay it. Can you forget the debt? Can you absolve the debt? No, I'm not gonna absolve the debt. I need my money. And the king going, what's wrong with you? I just absolved your debt. So you owe nothing. And now you are turning around and denying someone else the same privilege? Your hands are unclean. Get fucked. And that's why, to me, season 7 doesn't work. And it is like the entirety of season 7. The main plot collapses. And season 8, as a result, is following up on that. And I feel like it does the best it can to get me invested, to do cool shit. But I just keep thinking that as much as I care, I don't care. And boy, that's a fucking problem. And that's why I'm just like, I don't know what I think of it, and I kind of forgot that it happened. I have this pin to talk about. But I also need that's the villain pin. That's specifically the Cinder pin. But there is that, and I also didn't really talk about Winter, so that's the Winter pin. So Winters, villains, this shit. Season 9, like I said, feels like a genuine apology and self-reflection. Season 8, at times, feels like a sincere apology, and other times feels like a very half-hearted apology, to the point of being kind of mocking. For example, RWBY being called out by Yang, and Yang saying, sis, you're an idiot. We followed your lead, and this is what happened. Your plan was stupid. Excuse me. There was a chance for us to maybe communicate with Ironwood and talk him out of it, but he didn't trust us because we weren't honest with him, and that's because you said you didn't want to. Now, also notice Yang isn't calling out Blake here, while RWBY and Oscar, or it was mostly RWBY, and then they kind of talked about with Oscar too. RWBY was the one who said, let's not tell Ironwood the Ozpin secrets because I took my stupid pills this morning. Blake is the one who told Robin all about the tower. And my interpretation, as much as I give Team RWBY shit for this, and I'm going to anytime I'm thinking about it and talking about it, to me, what really broke James Ironwood was not my allies kept secrets from me. Although that sucked, it was then they leaked my secrets to my enemy. And that was Blake. RWBY had nothing to do with that. Weiss had nothing to do with that. The Juniper crew had nothing to do with that. Oscar had nothing to do with it. Okay, so that's the Orange crew. So I do get to call them Orange in this, yes. The Orange crew had nothing to do with that. That was Blake. And Yang went, okay, I will trust your judgment on it. Sure. Yang does not call Blake out for this at all. Nobody does. I can't stand Blake in Season 8. The reason I can't stand Blake is A, this is all your fault too. Just as much as it is RWBY's, if not more so, and no one gives her shit for it. But two, Blake, why are you on that team? Like, I don't care that you're separated from Yang. Like, that's fine. But to me, Blake Belladonna is the type of person who would say, I need to be on the ground and in the trenches saving lives and helping people. I can't be a bystander. Blake is the person who said, I want to be a huntress to make the world a better place, to help people, to help, like, I don't remember exactly what it was that she said to Ozpin in their, like, backstory scene. It's like, yeah, to help those people who are marginalized, who can't, maybe it was either to Ozpin or to the professor, maybe she said it to both. So the marginalized, the oppressed, I want to be there and help those people. Maybe there's an argument to be made that, well, part of everyone's development in Season 2 was what I want as a huntsman, or it's like what I want as a person comes second to my job as a huntsman. So this is Blake essentially saying, I think the tower is our best plan, so as much as I want to help the people, I need to be helping with this shit. No, I call bullshit on that, and here's why. Season 7. If Blake was the kind of person who would say, the needs of the people in Mantle are important, but this tower and, like, saving humanity and doing all that kind of shit, that's more important, she would not have told Robin any of that shit. The reason she did it, and the reason she was so anti-Ironwood in his plan, was because he is squeezing Mantle dry. He is squeezing them of labor. He's squeezing them of raw materials. These people are suffering because of his plan, and I fucking hate him for it, and I fucking hate his plan for it. Which, if that's what you think, that's what you think. But then, when the option is, we can finish that plan, or we can be here protecting these people, she turned her back on them. Nah. Hell nah. That bothers me so much. Fuck you, Volume 8, Blake. Fuck you. But to my point, it feeling like an apology, Yang calling out RWBY for the dumbass shit they did in Season 7 and the dumbass shit they did in the end of Season 6 feels justified. That it feels like the creators of the show saying, yeah, the characters have been doing some dumb shit and haven't really been called out for it. They need to. Someone they trust and can't just shrug off needs to tell them off. Because remember, at the end of Season 6, Crow was trying to tell them that their plan to steal an airship was fucking stupid because it's fucking stupid. everything about it is stupid. It barely even worked, because when they got into the city, they're like, oh, we didn't really plan this far ahead, and we're probably going to get arrested. And that's exactly what happened. Just, like, oh gosh, I don't want to think about that stupid plan anymore, because, oh boy, I'm going to have a conniption foot. Take a deep breath, drink water. Straight's just loud. Calm down. Anyways, the way Yang and Ruby's conversation is written, and the fact that Ruby is now kind of starting to think, I don't know if you heard that sound. That was fucking weird. I made that sound. I was not trying to make that sound. Moving on. The way that conversation is written, and Ruby's reflection of it, even in the volume, feels like it is a sincere apology. And I like that. I think it's kind of interesting. Then you have Ren. And Ren is calling people out left and right. He's like, okay, here's the problem with us. We suck. We do not have the experience, the fortitude, the intelligence, the whatever the fuck you want to put here to do what we're doing. The only reason we're huntsmen is because Ironwood felt bad for us and said, hey, I want to do something nice for you guys and, essentially give you a promotion. We didn't graduate. We didn't even finish our first year of school. John, you didn't even make it into the school. You cheated your way there. Like, we're not ready for this. We're not prepared for this. And everything that we've done since has proven to me how ill-equipped we are. And Yang's like, what the fuck are you talking about? We got the relic, didn't we? We got the lantern. Which my brain went, no, you didn't. Raven got the lantern. Raven then gave it to you. You didn't do anything. Like, you guys didn't beat Cinder. You didn't really beat her allies either. You just kind of had the relic. Cinder was gone, and then they're like, oh, okay, all the cops are also here, so we gotta retreat. Like, Blake did a lot more there than you did by all the getting all the people of Menagerie to come to the island. Like, I don't know if Mistral's an island. I don't think it is. Like, I give Blake a lot of credit for that. I can't give RWBY much credit for what happened in Mistral, honestly. So again, when Ruby's getting like really big for her britches at the end of season 6, I'm like, no, you really, really shouldn't. To which Ren does not let her get away with that. Now, he doesn't say, we didn't do shit, it was Raven. But what he does say is, look what happened after. Cool, we got the relic. We've also lost the relic. We've also now lost the trust of the guy in the top of the city. We pissed him off, and we kind of broke him mentally and emotionally, which is kind of why this is happening. Also, we've split our party because none of us can really agree on what to do anymore. Oscar got kidnapped. Ooh, I do actually have to put another pin in there because I have some shit I need to say about the Grimm. And we failed to save him too. And maybe I would have been able to save him. I was on his tail, but I had to come back and save the two of you because genuinely you slowed me down. And I'm listening to Ren talk, and I'm thinking a couple things at the same time. Number one, he's absolutely right. Sorry, I just thought of one of my favorite moments from Zoolander. You know, the whole, what is this? A center for ants! How can we expect them to learn how to read if they can't even fit through the door? Derek, it's just, I don't care for your excuses. It needs to be at least 3 times as big. He's absolutely right. Like that, I'm sorry, that moment from acting from Will Ferrell is so funny to me. Just the fucking scene where he's looking at Derek Zoolander and the whole Mugatu persona just fades for a second. And he's actually like, I know male models are dumb, but he's not that stupid. Derek, it's just a... And then gets back in character. He's absolutely right. I love it. But that's my reaction to Ren's rant. I'm like, no, he's absolutely right. Every bit of criticism he is given is shit that I was literally saying while watching season 6 and season 7. Thank you, season 8, for giving me a mouthpiece. This is awesome. But the way he's written, compare it to the way that Yang is written when she's talking to RWBY and how the other characters react to what Yang's saying. When Yang is saying this shit about how, RWBY, we followed your lead and it was dumb, I can't just blindly trust you and shit, it's treated as, this is something to take seriously, and we need to think about it. When Ren is saying this, the way everyone reacts to it is, he's being an asshole, he's being really brooding, and he's really moody. Excuse me. Let's just kind of wait for him to calm down. So, even though everything he's saying, is he being a bit too much of an asshole? Yes. But what he's saying isn't wrong. But he's not being treated as such. This to me felt like Ren in that moment is meant to be a mouthpiece for the people who were like really genuinely criticizing the show's writing, particularly of its main cast in these last couple seasons. And it feels like it's mocking those people. It feels like it was mocking me and my criticisms. Like, see, this is what you sound like. You sound like an unhelpful asshole. So shut up, stop being moody, and just enjoy the show, okay? And I was like, this is leaving a bad taste in my mouth now. This is, I don't like this. I don't like this. And then, again, when they were doing shit with it in season 9, I'm like, okay, this feels way better. So I got these other pins in the wall. The villains, Penny and Winter, the Grimm. I think I should say something about... I could talk about that with the villains. I can add something good, because I wasn't going to say a whole lot good about the villains. I want to, but I don't think I can. But now I can. Let me take the Grimm part out first. The more I watch this show, for the most part, not entirely, and I'll talk about that in a second as well, I've come to realize I don't like the Grimm. Because I find them incredibly boring. They're just monsters. They kind of have some fun designs, and sometimes they've got like a slightly different variant where like, oh, that one's like an elephant thing, or oh, there's like bee wasp ones. That's pretty cool. And then they just become standard grunts. I talked about this, so sorry, my lips also getting really fucking dry. I talked about this when watching RWBY Justice League, when Nora's like, I don't know what you guys have in your world, but here we have the Grimm, and they're evil. They're like these creatures of destruction. And like, she's hyping them up like they're these horrible fucking things. I'm like, but they're so boring. Why are we fighting Grimm instead of fighting the Joker, the Hive trio, I don't know, fucking Yellow Lanterns or some shit? Like, give me some cool DC shit, not just boring monsters. And the reason I bring that up, well, I feel like it's something I want to say, but also, season 8 is one of the few times where I kind of had to eat my words a little bit. Season 6 does it with the apathy. And while I said in my video on season 6, I hate that the other characters having their doubts about the mission is just because of the apathy, I wanted at least one of them to say, no. I am actually on the fence. Can we talk about this? I really wanted that. I felt like the apathy was just a convenient excuse. But the idea of like, there's this thing that just fucks with your emotions. And this is what it does to you, and this is how it consumes you, and this is how it drains you. I'm like, that's super fucking cool. I like this monster a lot. I started Ice Queendom today, and there was a part of me that was like, JJNW, if you hold off on the Season 8 video, you can finish Ice Queendom, and then do the Ice Queendom video before the Season 8 video. Because I'm not trying intentionally to not make it, but I've skipped it over twice. It would be kind of funny to do it again. I'm like, I'm not trying to intentionally do it, so let's just do it. But the nightmares in the Ice Queen, I'm like, oh, this is a fucking cool Grimm. I like this a lot. This is some Persona shit. It's like, man, I guess the RWBY characters after cross tag battles spent way too much time with the Persona characters. Because now they're fighting their shadows. They're going into their palaces. Oh, this is lovely. This is fucking sick. And Season 8 has another new type of Grimm, where it's this one Grimm that's body keeps changing and evolving. Like, it's like on all fours, and then it actually grows like fucking arms, and you can hear as much as you see its skeletal structure changing, and the fucking wings come out of its back. It starts talking, it starts strategizing. When it goes for Oscar, it grabs him, and it starts like moving him around like a fucking meat shield. That's cool. I loved seeing that so much. I was so excited to see a new kind of Grimm be a threat. Because the Grimm are a lot like zombies in a zombie movie, where they're a threat because of their numbers, but after enough seasons, like in The Walking Dead, there's a point where you stop genuinely seeing the zombies as a threat, because like we know what we're doing with them. It's the people. So seeing a new type of Grimm be a problem, loved it. Then you find out that this Grimm had a person inside it. And that's, I guess, kind of like why it was able to talk, why it was more intelligent, and that person had silver eyes. So, like, that's why Salem wants RWBY. Very specifically, he's gonna try to turn her into a Grimm. Which leads RWBY to kind of realize two things. One, I just killed a human being. And I don't know if I'm okay with that. And two, oh my god, is that what happened to Mom? Because Mom never came back. And Salem, at the end of Season 7, said that she knew Mom, and like Mom talked the exact same shit that I did, which means Mom fucked with Salem, and Mom never came back. Mom is probably a Grimm. And I loved that. I was like, that's so creepy. That's interesting shit. And I know I talked about this a little bit in the Season 9 video too. I'm so excited to meet Summer Rose, and I don't know when we're going to do it. Like, we see her in Season 9. I don't doubt for a second that she's still alive. Rule number 1 of, like, storytelling and, like, reading books, watching movies, whatever the fuck. If you don't see a body, assume they're still alive. That's not always correct, but it's correct more often than it otherwise would be. It's like, I don't see a body. No one has seen a body. She's still alive. And even then, I guess kind of rule 1A, even if you see a body, don't always trust it. But that's thing number 1. Thing number 2 is there's the part of me that just says, what's more interesting? Summer Rose being dead, or Summer Rose being still alive, but abandoning her family? Because the idea of RWBY coming to terms with, okay, maybe my mom wasn't as infallible as I thought she was. Even Mom failed. Mom wasn't able to kill Salem. Mom got killed. I can avenge her, and, like, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's good. I like it. Again, like, I loved what they did with that in Season 9. But the idea of her meeting her mom and realizing Mom is still alive. Oh my god, Mom is still alive. Why did you never come back? You abandoned me. And Sis. And Dad. And me. that's gonna be a fucking scene. Because I genuinely think I've been saying it, like, her name is Summer. She's the Summer Maiden, like 1000%. I'm 100% sure that her mission when she left with Raven, it's Summer Maiden shit. It's either we know where she is and we're trusting you to take the power, or she already had the power. It's like, we need to put you somewhere where Salem can't find you. I'm assuming she's in Vacuo. Like, she's gonna be in hiding in Vacuo. And oh boy, ain't that gonna be some shit, and I'm so excited for it. Anyways, went on my summer tangent, but I had to shout out how fucking cool that one Grim was in this. There's also the giant whale, which is also cool. I had to shout that out. So now we've got our villain pin and the Penny and Winter pin. Gonna save that one for last. Let's take out the villain pin. First off, I hate this show. Here's why I hate it. I hate that it didn't even click with me while I was watching it that Cinder is supposed to be Cinderella. Like, I watched her backstory, and I was like, my brain went, oh, I know this backstory. This is a very Cinderella-esque backstory. You know, she has a stepmother that adopts her. She has these two stepsisters. She's the one that has to do all the work and all the cleaning, and they treat her like shit. Blah, 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 blah. Also, I thought of fucking Sea Cats. I was like, this is some, like, Beatrice shit. This is really familiar, and I kind of fuck with this. But somehow, some way, my brain did not go, Cinderella. Cinder. Cinderella. Cinder. E-L-L-A. E, turn that into an F, you move the A here, Cinderfall. I didn't think of that until I was actually writing my notes down. I was like, yeah, Cinder, like Cinder's backstory, it's kind of Cinderella-y. Oh, Cinderfall, Ella, fuck, they got me. How did I not see that coming? Man, I really have been taking my stupid pills. Like, it got me, and I was mad that it got me. But it did. I have to give it its credit. I'm like, oh, okay, so that, like, she's supposed to be Cinderella. Here's why I actually don't like that, though. Clay and I rewatched Cinderella last year or the year before when we were going through the Disney animated canon. And I will speak for both of us on this because I know Clay feels the same way. We loved the movie. And the main reason why we loved the movie is the character of Cinderella. It is because here is this woman that works her ass off for everything she has. She is so hard working. But part of what makes her so interesting is despite all the shit that she takes it in stride. She doesn't complain. She keeps going. She still has those moments where she's able to give a little bit of sass. Sometimes it's to their faces. Sometimes it's just to, like, her animal companions, because Disney Princess, of course, has her animal companions. But you feel that despite everything that happens to her, she refuses to break. And then the dress scene happens, and that's when she breaks. And that's when she's at her lowest. And I remember when we were watching that, because we've seen Cinderella before, we know where it's going. We were cringing, because it's so uncomfortable seeing that happen. It's devastating, and my heart breaks for her. So the fairy godmother coming for her and doing her a solid is so, so satisfying. Cinderfall is a horrible, horrible person. And that's why I love her character. I've said it several times. Like, I love how petty and vindictive Cinder is, and it's awesome. But I think I'm starting to get to a point. We'll see how it goes in later seasons, where Cinder is getting boring. And the reason Cinder is getting boring, not because I don't have a backstory to contextualize her character, because her backstory is more or less what I thought it was going to be. It's because I genuinely don't think the writers of the show want her to ever lose. Now, that might sound like a weird thing to say given the end of season 3, where she very clearly does, when she gets blasted by the fucking Silver Eyes, loses an eye, loses an arm, and then spends all of volume 4 not being able to fucking talk. But here's the thing, though. A, it took them really pulling bullshit out of their ass to be able to even beat Cinder. And while she does need to recover in season 4, she's right back at it in season 5. And she's great in season 5. I love it. She loses that fight in season 5. And I remember when I watched it the first time, I was hyped to see Cinder turn to ice and fall. I was like, dude, they just killed Cinder. They just took her ass out of the show. She might fall and shatter. She might fall and stay frozen for a while. They just took out a major threat. That means, A, I'm going to see the other members of Salem's Posse. Excuse me. I'm going to see the other members of Salem's Posse rise up, get a lot more prominence, get more interesting shit. But it's kind of a good way of letting the audience know shit is getting more real. We just killed a major character. That you know, and that is a major threat. When you take out a major threat, it's kind of like that hierarchy, you know? It's like when you take out that first major boss, you know the next boss has to be tougher. It's like if Cinder's gone, the next threats are going to be that much tougher. No, in season 6, she's fine. She gets unfrozen. She has a fight with Neapolitan, which she seems to be winning pretty much okay by the time it's done. It's not really much of an issue. She's able to get into Atlas with nary a problem. She's able to piss off Ironwood super easily. Her plans aren't really going awry. Did she get the maiden power that she wanted? No, I guess in a way she kind of failed, but, well, what do you know? She still got the relic so she can go back to Salem, no problem. And I wasn't really minding any of that. Although the frozen thing, I was like, oh, that was surprisingly easy and anticlimactic. Okay. What really bothered me is when she's talking to Salem and is like, hey, Master. I'm going to start doing like an Igor thing. I was like, hey, Master, can I go get my maiden powers? And Salem says, no. Please? No. Please? No. Stop asking. To which Cinder goes, okay, I'm gonna do it anyway. She goes, does it anyway, gets beat. I really like that fight, by the way. I haven't really talked about the fights in this season, and I'm not really gonna, for the most part. I do really like that fight with Cinder and Penny. Penny's trying to hold the tower up. And then, like, there's the side shit of, like, Neo and Maria. And I don't remember who Emerald was fighting. I know she was fighting someone. Like, the side shit was still pretty cool, but I really like that fight between Penny and Winter. Or, excuse me, Penny and Cinder. Cinder now goes back. Okay, so, I didn't stop them from finishing the tower. I didn't get the maiden power. And my boss, who specifically told me not to do this and to not piss her off, I did the thing and I pissed her off. I'm in trouble. And Salem's reaction to this is not, oh boy, Cinder, what am I gonna do with you? You failed, you don't listen, so I'm gonna kill you. Or like, I'm just gonna take the maiden power from you until you learn how to behave. Like, she doesn't punish her. She literally doesn't. She's like, you know what, Cinder, that's my B. Because I should have known the kind of person that you are, that you would have done it anyway. So it's more of like an, oh, it's fine. I'm not going to punish you at all. Huh. You know, Cinder got out of that really easily, despite this being her fault. 100%. Cinder's not facing the consequences of her failure. It's kind of like what happened at the end of season 5. That was her fault. But it didn't really matter in the long run. That's kind of boring to me. And then at the end of the season, when despite the fact that she's fighting all of these people at once and a maiden, she's still able to kill Penny. Again, she's not the one that kills her. There's a reason that Penny and Winter one is in there. It's like, did she ultimately get what she wanted with the maiden power? No, but she still won that fight. Kind of pretty fucking handily, despite how outnumbered she is. So I'm like, oh, she's just kind of invincible. And then by the end, what does she get? Did she get her maiden power? No. She got Watts killed, which made her happy. She got 2 relics, which made her happy because it made her boss happy. She was able to throw Ruby and all her friends into the Shadow Realm, and she also threw Neapolitan in the Shadow Realm, which is like, I don't really like you, and this is what you get for threatening me, bitch. Cinder does not face any consequences. To me, the way she's written, she feels like she's invincible. And I don't like that. And that's the problem I have with Salem. I think her backstory is great. I really, really do. And the scene where she is being fought and you see her fucked up body, like she is dead, and then it starts contorting itself back into place as it's healing, that's cool. That's really, really cool. Also, the main antagonist is not only like a really good schemer, not only is she super fucking powerful, she also can't die. What can she not do? Like, I look at it and go, yeah, from what I know about the story, and it's like, I'm caught up, so like, there's nothing I don't know. Sorry, this is making me think of Monogatari shit, but anyways. With my understanding of everything that has happened so far, I have no reason to believe that she can be stopped. Aside from gathering the Dragon Ball. Like, genuinely what I think is going to happen is Salem is going to gather the Dragon Balls, and I am doing it on purpose. But she's going to gather the Dragon Balls, get the gods, and go, look, I did it. I summoned you all so we can be judged. Look at how I've divided humanity. And the gods are going to go, what are you talking about? Humanity is so fucking united. They're united against you. You didn't divide them. You brought them together. You gave them a common foe. Look at these 4. You've got 2 girls from Haven, 2 girls from Vale, a Faunus, and the heiress of the Schnee Dust Company. They came together to stop the Grimm. They came to stop you. And then look at their other friends. You've got Jean, who wherever the fuck he's from, I don't remember. And then Nora and Ren, 2 people who was their village in Mistral territory, or was that still in Vale territory? Oh shit, I just realized my phone is starting to die. Oh fuck, I don't know where we're able to finish the video. Anyways, blah blah blah. I think what's going to happen is that Salem is going to gather the relics because they can't actually stop her. But because she and the main characters weirdly have the same goal of get the Dragon Balls together and summon the gods for final judgment, the gods are going to render judgment, but it's not going to be in Salem's favor. And maybe they do some shit to reform her, like they take away the immortality. Maybe they do kill her. I don't know. We'll see. But our main ultimate villain is literally invincible. And their main consistent threat is written to be invincible, and that's not interesting to me. I think Neo is a cool and fun character, and that continues in Season 9. Emerald, I think she's okay. I don't really care, but maybe in season 10 they can make me care. Mercury, I don't really care. Watts, I think, is pretty fun. I do like what they did with Hazel. Fucking rip my man. Tyrion is just a fucking blast. He wasn't in this season enough, but he's a fucking blast. I think that's it. Penny and Winter. Penny and Winter are the best fucking things in this season. Penny is the best part of this Atlas arc. No question, by far. She is adorable. Her energy is infectious. I think she can be genuinely funny, and I love her conflict in this season. I am the protector of Mantle. I have to help these people. But I am also the Winter Maiden. So my duties are something bigger than that. Then she gets a virus put in her, which is, I have to go to the vault and get the relic. Then I am going to self-terminate. I am going to kill myself because Ironwood doesn't want me to have this power anymore because he doesn't trust me. And then it will go to the next person. He thinks it's going to be Winter. I'm not going to give it to Winter because I don't think I can trust her, but I can trust RWBY. I will give it to RWBY if it happens. With RWBY's reaction being, no, I'm not going to let you die again. I'm not going to let you die again. I am not going to let you die again. So they use the power of the staff to turn her into a real girl. It's a little more complicated and nuanced than that, but essentially it's like, we want two versions of Penny. Here's all her robot parts, and that's whatever the fuck. Here is Penny, her soul. This is what the body should look like. And it seems like she still kind of had her rocket boots, which doesn't make sense. I'm just going to assume that was Maiden magic. Like, I'm gonna give you an out here, show. I think it's bullshit, but I'm gonna give you this out. And she's like, I'm now finally human. And the first thing she does is she just hugs her best friend. She's like, hey, are hugs always this warm? Like, this is the sweetest fucking thing. Why do they have to kill her? Because that was the one thing I knew going into season 8 was Penny died. And that Winter did become the Winter Maiden. And, I didn't know that Jon killed her. That after Cinder gets that killing blow, and Penny's like, look, dude, I need you to do something for me. He's like, yeah, I know, I can heal you, sit tight, I can help you. No, Jon, there's no time for that. This wound is too deep. Even if we took care of Cinder, I don't think you would be able to heal me. And let's be honest, she's not going to give you that chance. I am going to die. So instead of her getting that final blow on me, and like, she's the last face I see, so I think of her, make sure I die as me. Please. So Jon has to fucking kill somebody. And, yeah, you do definitely get the repercussions of that in season 9. I don't think I really talked about Jon enough in season 9, but poor bastard. So he kills Penny. In Volume 5, I talked about the scene where RWBY, Yank, and Weiss, but mostly RWBY and Weiss get reunited, and that I teared up. In Season 9, I talked about the scene when RWBY is talking to the Red Prince's goons about Penny's sword, and like gives this eulogy for her friend and how it teared me up. I'm crying a little bit. The scene when Penny is talking to Winter and is like, I'm here to give you the power. That scene also made me cry. That one fucking got me. It's like, this is genuinely possibly my favorite character in the show. And she gets a send-off. That was beautiful. That was fantastic. You broke my heart, Fredo. You broke my heart. It's like, that fucking hurt. Winter is so deserving of that. If Penny is the best thing in this season, Winter is the second best thing in this season. And if Penny's not the best thing, it's because it's Winter. She and her morality is so interesting. It really, I got super itchy fucking nose. Her story at the end of season 7 of your emotions, Penny, are what tell you the difference between right and wrong. But your mind can help you sort through that. Your emotions let you know that you're still human, but your mind kind of clears through the fog and lets you do what needs to be done. And season 8 is her really, really struggling with what needs to be done and getting to the point where she realizes Ironwood is not what's best for Atlas anymore. I'm close to the general. I have followed him without question. I can't anymore. And I love the fact that Winter reaches out to them. It's like, hey, I have a plan. And I think that's cool as hell. I love the shit with Weiss and her family and like her brother being a bro, her mom doing some cool shit. Is like, I really like the Schnee family. Even Jacques. I fucking love Jacques. He's awful. I fucking blasted him into the Shadow Realm. That was cool. Winter seeing her sister die, which we know Weiss didn't actually die, but her seeing her sister die, that was some shit. RWBY also saw her sister die. Like when Yang fucking fell and Blake was that close to saving her but couldn't. That was some good shit. I remember the episode where Penny died had a content warning before it. It was like, yeah, this is an episode that's going to deal very heavily with death. Keep that in mind. It's like, so this is when it happened. I think it was also the last episode. I was like, this is when it happens. I'm not ready for this, and I wasn't. I fucking cried. But, maybe I do remember more of season 8 than I thought. For me, it's very, very much a mixed bag. There's parts of it that I think are really good. Like Penny and Winter. And I do like Yang, and I do like some of the shit like that RWBY does and whatnot. I didn't really talk that much about Nora. I think Nora's okay. I really like the idea of Nora saying, essentially my entire character is dumb jokes, which maybe are funny, maybe not, and hanging out with Ren. I want to be something more than just dumb joke and hitting things with hammer, and I really want to be my own person with my own identity besides just Ren. That does not mean I don't love him, but it means I need my space, and I think that's really interesting. I do want to see where that goes. I felt like I was really getting into Oscar this season. He was really starting to come into his own with like all of his shit. Am I forgetting anybody? Maybe I don't even think I really said much. Like Weiss, I just like the shit with her and her family. Like I said, Blake, I fucking hated this season. She didn't really do anything anyways, and she was out of character. And I think a lot of this is her fault. RWBY, this definitely felt like kind of the precursor to her character in season 9. And like I said in season 9, I don't think that season would be as good if I didn't fucking hate her character in the back half of season 6 and the entirety of season 7. Season 8 feels like kind of the happy bridge. I don't want to say it's not happy, but like it feels like the bridge in between the shittiness of season 7 and her fantastic character arc in season 9. In terms of the fights, because I don't really have a lot to say. I think the end fight, like all the crazy shit with Cinder, like it's cool. I like it. I don't like it as much as the Raven fight. I don't like it as much as the Tower fight. I don't think it's as good as the fight against Cinder at the end of season 7. And again, it was the point where I realized Cinder just isn't going to be written to genuinely lose and face consequences. So while this is cool to look at, I kind of don't give a shit, which is a problem. Which again is one of the things that's really interesting about season 9. Hey, there's no Salem, there's no Cinder, there's no... Most of these side characters aren't here. There's no Grimm. It's just the 4 main characters and Jean. And I think it's the best the show has ever been. Huh. I don't think season 8 is a bad season. I don't know if I think it's a good season. It got a very strong reaction out of me with the Penny Winter scene, but I feel like that's overall, like, I thought it was fine. I thought it was okay. I don't think I liked the good parts, aside from the Penny Winter shit, as much as the good shit in season 7. I guess I'll say this. The season is alright. But there's 2 characters, 2.5 if I want to include Yang, because I don't think she's on the level of Penny and Winter here, but she's still good. But there's 2 characters that really, really bring it home. And I like that. So from here, I have to finish Ice Queendom. Then I have to finish Justice League 2. Then I'm going to do a tier list of all of RWBY. This is all 9 seasons, Ice Queendom, both Justice League crossovers, and the 4 character trailers. I don't know if I'm going to do a character tier list. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. Because, boy, there's a lot of fucking characters. Because I was looking at some of these character tier lists, and I'm like, I don't know who the fuck some of these people are. And even some of them that I did, I'm like, okay, I kind of know you, but you're so minor, I don't really know what to say. But if it was just like Team RWBY, Juniper, Salem's Droogs, Crow, Oz, Raven, my beloved, Penny, Winter, like something like that, I could probably really do. Maybe I could curate a tier list or kind of do what we did with the Sea Cats one. Just like, here's the Who'sville tier of just, I don't know who the fuck you are. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, now here's like the people that matter and are actually interesting. Maybe I will, because I feel I would have a lot to say. But even then, I'd be like, where the fuck do I put some of these characters? Because there's some seasons where I think Blake is really interesting, and then a couple seasons where like, you are so out of character, you suck. And then RWBY, who I'm like, man, season 9 RWBY might be my favorite character in the entire show. But there's also season 6 and season 7 RWBY, who I don't like. I don't know, but I definitely want to at least do a season tier list, which I can almost do. There's just a couple things left that hopefully I can get done this week or super early this week. But now, finally, this fucking Volume 8 video is done.